three key areas. Now, if you ask any suicide prevention expert, why do people want to take their lives, they'll go, well, it's a very complicated issue. You see, it's so complicated. We can't go into it in so much detail because it's so complicated. And best you don't talk about it and leave it to us. But the fact is, at the heart of most suicidal thinking is three things. Reason number one, I'm hurting. I'm in pain, and I want the pain to stop. People tell me that with time, things will get easier. But every day I wake up and the pain is worse. I don't want to die. I just need the pain to end. So number one, I'm hurting. Number two, I'm causing hurt. I feel like I'm a burden to everybody and everybody will be better off without me. I walk into the room and it feels like I suck the oxygen from the room. So if I wasn't here, you guys could get on with your lives and you wouldn't have to worry about me anymore. And number three, particularly with younger people and in some cases middle-aged men. First one was I'm hurting. Two is I'm causing hurt. Three, I want to cause hurt. You hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you. So at the heart of all suicidal thinking is just people who are hurting. They're just hurting. And they're not drama queens. They're not attention seekers. They're none of that bullshit. They are just people who are hurting, and it's our job as a society to help identify when someone is hurting and carry them to the other side. It's simple. We need to help. Now, one of the other key issues that I see in the experts is they're constantly writing material about what to look out for. What are the signs? How many people have seen that somewhere? What are the signs for suicide? There are no signs. There are no signs. Well, if someone's put off their favourite food, if they're in the bedroom, if they're not talking to anyone, if they don't come out, that's puberty. You're probably in there just whacking off. It could be the flu. The only sign that someone is suicidal is when they tell you. And what's society's reaction to anyone that tells you, oh, you've got so much to live for, don't be silly. What about everybody else? So, for mine, we have to do better. I'll give you an interesting fact. 40%, I've been speaking in schools for the last 13 years. I've spoken to over 300,000 kids face to face. And here's a stat that'll stagger you. 40% of kids in school will have a major crisis associated with some type of suicidal thinking before they leave school. Not in their lifetime, before they leave school. 40% of kids will have a suicidal thought, whether it's a one-off thought or a recurring thought, before they leave school. How many people are disturbed by that? Why? Because I said the S word. That's what we have to call it now, Jimmy. We have to call it the S word. Because you can't say suicide, because if you say suicide, you might start thinking about suicide. If you're thinking about suicide, don't tell anyone else to think about suicide, because everyone will die. It's a load of shit. We've given this word way too much power. The statistic, and the reason I say that 40% of kids have a suicidal thought. Everyone in this room's had a suicidal thought, whether you want to admit it or not. If you haven't left your house at least once in your life thinking, what's the point? Then you must be living in a marshmallow. The statistic that should stagger everyone is 80% of kids who are suicidal never reach out and ask for help ever. And the reason is they're worried about what people are going to think, what people are going to say, and what people are going to do. And the number one reason kids don't talk to parents or loved ones about their thoughts isn't because they're aliens, they live on a different planet and they don't understand me. The number one reason kids give me for not talking to loved ones is, I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to let them down. Think about that. A child would rather die than tell you they're thinking about dying. And this is the so-called selfish generation. And what's our response to kids who think that? If you're thinking about suicide, reach out and ask for help. What a load of shit. I've just told you I'm scared of sharks, and your solution, hey, go swim with some sharks and a dolphin might come along. We need to lose that reach out and ask for help message and flip it around, and we all need to ask ourselves the question, what are we all doing collectively to make it okay for people to reach out and ask for help? And the bottom line is, the fact is, we're not doing enough. We need to show more vulnerability. We need for young people to understand that the feelings they're going through are feelings that we all have. We need to stop wearing masks around and pretending we've got our shit together, because no one has got their shit together. And what kids really need to see, they need to see vulnerable adults. We need to take off our perfect masks and show our kids who we really are. We're just people out there trying to do our best. And we all make mistakes. And if kids could actually see that and understand from the people that they respect, they admire, and they love the most, that life is a struggle, then they won't feel so alien.